I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, coming to you from the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, just outside the food court entrance to the Paddock Mall in the Brick City beautiful Ocala, Florida. But I know a man who takes the Brick City beautiful mantra very seriously because he knows the history of fires in this county. He knows the history of the great Ocala fire that deemed us the Brick City because they didn't want to build white placard wood buildings anymore because they found out they burn quickly. So Brick City was created as more of a fire deterrent than it was a actual means of creating beautiful architecture. Shane Alexander, the fire chief for the Ocala Fire Department here. Chief, good morning.
Hey, good morning, sir. You got your history down great. That fire of 1883 is actually what caused Ocala Fire Rescue to come into service in 1885, making us one of the oldest fire departments in the state of Florida.
Yeah, and it had to happen because the city went up. 6 city blocks went up in a matter of about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Well, yes, sir.
Gone.
Yep.
We found some relics, and I helped do a dig about 4 years ago where Willett Boyer was digging up when they were doing the beautification of in front of the Marion Theater and down Fort King and all.
Yeah, the roadway there.
Yeah, and they dug all that up to find the bricks that were pristine still under the asphalt down there.
Wow.
But we also found pieces of porcelain and glass and everything that led to, people say, well, this building was on the, and it was actually a pretty funny story is we were able to pull a plat from 1880 that showed all the businesses and the homes and everything the year before the fire. And so we're looking, and here was a doctor's office, and here was a doctor's house. And then the lot right there, that parking lot that is directly across from, it's on I guess it would be on the south side of Ivy House, that it used to be the parking lot for.
It's the Barrett Liner parking lot?
Yeah, that parking lot. There was a house that sat there. And there's all indications that house was there. Everybody knows the house there, but it was nowhere on any of the plats or anything.
Wow.
Well, influential towns, and by the way, in the 1880s and 1890s, Ocala was a very influential town in Florida because it was a vacation destination. People from the Northeast would come down, take their boats down the Ocala and everything, and come right here to Ocala. Well, there were houses of ill repute in towns, but they never showed up on the maps. But if you found, the way we found it, there was porcelain and everything. The only places that would have used the kind of stuff we found on this lot were high-end hotels, which wasn't on this lot. We knew what a hotel was. Right. Wealthy people. Well, the wealthy people didn't live on that lot. We knew that where the wealthy people lived, or houses of ill repute. This was nothing was on it. So we found that, but that was all because of the fire burnt the whole downtown area, and these artifacts were found later. Wow. The Brick City now is Ocala. It's it was built not for aesthetic looks. It was built because bricks don't burn.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Heat's what makes bricks stronger. So bricks don't burn. So we became the Brick City, and it also ushered in the creation of the Ocala Fire Department.
Yes, sir. Yep, in 1885. Yep.
Because they saw a need, because in 1881, the Bucket Brigade didn't get it done. Isn't it amazing? Because I know you're a student of the history of fire, the fire departments and everything. Isn't it amazing how we went from the Bucket Brigades? And a lot of fire departments started out as volunteer Bucket Brigade guys. Yeah. The bell at the church would ring, and that meant go find a fire wherever it was.
Yes, sir. And there's some things that are still traditional, even from those times. So some of our response zones, we're typically a mile and a half radius from a fire station. That was the same thing in those times because that was really as far as a horse could pull.
Wide open for that long.
Correct. Yep. So we still use some of the same standards today.
And the necessity of fighting fires and how important that became, some of the inventions that were coming, because they went from a bucket brigade to horse-drawn water barrels with cannons on them pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. And then even, more recent in the last 50 or 60 years, we follow a lot of the military guidelines. So a lot of our firefighting comes from the Navy. Using different types of hoses and foams and aerating the water to get better coverage out of it. So we've mirrored a lot from the military.
And believe me, the Navy knows how to fight fires better than any other military service because you don't want to know. My dad was in the Marine Corps, and you don't want to know some of the nasty fires that they see on aircraft carriers. from jets with jet fuel and everything.
Yes,
and
sir.
they know how to extinguish those with very little loss, because if one of those fires gets out of control, there's 6,000-7,000 people that could die.
Yes, sir. So I've served in the Navy from 86 to 90, and fire is the number one threat to a naval ship.
Yes.
Yep.
So you do now, though, it's 2021. We got all kind of new techniques for fighting fires and everything. And you even have some techniques now through outreach programs that are preemptive to fighting fires.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we have a saying that the least expensive fire is the one you never have.
Yeah. 100%.
So we really, if you go back 20 or 30 years, we would sit in the firehouse and wait for someone to call 911. But nowadays, with data, all of our technology, if it's predictable, it's preventable. So we have a lot of outreach programs, and they positively impact the community. We have about 9 of them right now, which is really what I like to get out to the community today. Is they can go to ocalafire.org and access all of our outreach programs. The first one that we have is our smoke alarm install. So anybody in the city of Ocala, and we do a full safety walk, so they can go to ocalafire.org, input their information for a smoke alarm install, and our fire prevention department will come to their home. They will change batteries, install smoke detectors for free, do a safety walkthrough, help you with the numbers on your house, and ensure everything about your house is as safe as it can be.
You bring up a very good point that I don't think a lot of people understand. Smoke detectors, we know that you got to change them out and everything. A lot of people say that that's the only reason to keep daylight savings time, is it's a reminder it's that time to change the batteries in your smoke detector. But so we know about one of the things you just said is the numbers on your house. That's a big problem for people, because people don't realize the only way you have to recognize what home you're going to is the address you're given. If you're going to a home and the address is some little 1.5 inch number up by the mailbox that's nailed to the side of the house, and it's black numbers on a non-lit front porch,
right,
you don't know where that house is.
Yes, sir. So for residents, the more clearly they have identified their home, the more rapidly that they're going to get emergency services, not just fire and paramedic, but also for law enforcement.
Right.
So one of the worst days in our fire department's history was when we had one of our firefighters get injured and shot, and he made entry into a home because the home was not properly identified. So we made entry into the wrong home in an apartment complex. So it's key for us, and we even have advanced software now. We have a program called Community Connect, where the community can actually go in and list their if you have a priority, say you've just had surgery, your grandmother lives is in a wheelchair, you can upload pictures of your pets, and we call it Save Time and Save Lives. So before our people ever get on scene, your residents and everything about your life pops up on their laptop. So when they get to your house, they know everywhere. It saves us time. We don't have to guess where you are, who's in a wheelchair, where the dogs are, who's upstairs. We have the information prior to arrival.
I hadn't even thought about that, because I just went through back surgery. Mm-hmm. And for the first week and a half, I was just laid up in the bed. If the fire started, it would have been good for the fire department to know he's in the guest bedroom off to the left of the house, not in the master bedroom off to the right of the house.
Yes, sir. Yep. And, and whatever your condition is. And it's a completely secure site, so only firefighters and paramedics that are vetted ahead of time can access it. And we started it about a year ago. So I live in the city, and I filled it out myself. I just recently got an email pushed to me that said, hey, is this where you live? Do you want to update your information? And our firefighters on a laptop will actually get your home from the property appraiser's floor plan. They'll get information that you have input, and then if we have visited your house, we input information as well.
It's come a long way. It's come a long way.
Yes, sir.
We got outreach programs like the smoke detectors, but you said there are 9. Give us an overview of some of the other ones.
Yeah, so another topic we've discussed here with you, Tom, is our opioid crisis.
Yeah, a crisis, a pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, sir, an epidemic. We have a Narcan Leave Behind program. So you can go to ocalafire.org and fill out the tab for Narcan Leave Behind, and one of our team will come to your home. They'll leave you a 2-pack. They'll spend 10 minutes with you, explain you how to administer it, connect you with other services if you need them, and also a contact information if you administer the Narcan and you need to contact for more. Then we'll come right back out to your house and provide it again. This is a means of keeping people alive until they can choose recovery.
People don't realize, and you do, because your men and women have been on calls. There was a guy, and we were talking one day with Ask the Cops, and Billy Woods and Greg Gray were on with us, and There was a guy who OD'd in the county. Marion County Fire Rescue got him to the hospital. He got released from the hospital. 9 hours later, Ocala Fire responded to an overdose. Same guy. Got him to the hospital. Got him the care he needed. Got him released from the hospital. 13 hours later, Ocala PD responded to an OD. Same guy. One of the Ocala officers, when he come to and everything now, they were like, "What, dude, this is 3 times in less than 24 hours. What's the deal?" He goes, "Yeah, but the high is fantastic." And that was all. He had OD'd, he had cheated death 3 times in less than 24 hours.
Yes, sir.
And that's not uncommon.
No, sir. We had over 160 deaths in Marion County from opioid overdoses last year.
If Paul Bloom, who was PIO for the sheriff's office, was just on with us, if we had a person, we were talking about Danny Rollins because that just played on 2020 Friday night. If we had a serial killer in our area that in a 12-month period stabbed, shot, or killed 160 people, everybody from the county commissioners to the sheriffs to the chief of police, maybe even the fire department, there would be a shakeup like nobody's business at the top of all these places.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And yet it happens every day, every year, 160, 170 people die of overdoses when there are amnesty programs in place. And when there are Narcan, where you take Narcan to people and everything, still 160 people die a year, and there's no community outrage. I promise you, if a serial killer was shooting 160 people a year, heads would roll.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's part of getting the awareness out there and getting their proper support and services. It's a big part of what we're all trying to do is get everybody on the same page, fill the gaps, reduce the overlap, and we feel like we're making some headway with all the different steps. So we're hoping for next year. And, and the pandemic made things worse. People didn't have services accessible. They couldn't go to AA or NA. They couldn't get their medicine-aided treatment. So early on, during this epidemic,
People went back to self-medicating.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, sir. And some of them are very frank about it. I mean, we've had some patients come to us and say, "Hey, I need help." And they have a job, they're working, but they're in so much pain. They'll tell us, they're like, "Hey, look, I'm gonna go home and use heroin because I can't get pain relief."
I just went through back surgery. One of the things that I was given a prescription for out of back surgery, and was only given a prescription for 3 days worth. Okay, 3 days worth. I was given Oxycontin, and believe me, it works. Because in the first day, against doctor's orders and what was really listed on the bottle, I was in bad pain. I took Oxycontin. It leveled the pain off a little bit. Pain started to come back within 2 hours.
Wow.
I took another one. You're supposed to take them 6 hours apart. And I got 2 of them in me in less than 2 hours. Pain didn't subside near that much. Took a third one.
Wow.
Now, people are going to laugh. People are going to think. And this is why I don't understand how people become addicted to this, because it scared me to death. 4 pills later in about a 7-hour period, 8-hour period. And nobody's policing me. I'm a grown man. I got my prescription. It says take 3 times a day for 3 days. Who's going to police me on that? If I'm having pain, I'm taking these pills so my pain goes away.
Right.
I'm in the backyard of my house at 2 a.m. I come in the back door into my master bedroom, wake my fiance up and go, "What the hell is going on in the backyard?" She goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "There's a big party out there. They're throwing a party out in the backyard. The mayor's here, everything." She goes, "What? What are you talking about?" I go look in the backyard. She gets up out of bed. She goes, "There's nothing in the backyard, you moron." I go, "I can see them all." Then a few minutes later, I go, "I can't go." She goes, "Can you please get your walker and go back? Because I can't go back to bed." She goes, "Well," I go, "There are 4 guys in the bedroom who want to beat me up. I can't do anything about it." Here I was on 4 Oxycontin within an 8-hour period. I'm hallucinating, seeing things that aren't even there.
Wow.
And I go, no wonder this drug is killing people.
Sure, and you're in a healthy environment with your fiance there.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, sir.
And look, you know how many Oxycontin are left? I had the prescription for 4 a day for 3 days, 12 pills. There's still 8 of them sitting in the house.
After those 4.
After those 4, I was like, oh. I was like, I don't care if it feels like they're ripping my backbone out of my body. I'll just have to deal with it. Right. Now, on the other side, I did have hydrocodone, which is not as bad.
Right.
but it doesn't help with the pain near as much either.
Right.
But I weaned off hydrocodone because of how scared I was in about 4 days, where I've been taking Advil, Tylenol and Flexeril, muscle relaxer,
Right.
to loosen up, because that 8-hour period scared the hell out of me.
Yes, sir.
And that's the drug we're talking about. That I'm a law-abiding citizen now. I host a radio program. I could have got that quick because it did. It eased the pain,
Right.
and you felt good, and that's the people that we're talking about. This isn't a drug that is in the underbelly of society.
Right.
This is a drug that guys like you and I that get surgery could start taking it and end up hooked on it, and now we need heroin and stuff because the doctors aren't giving it to us anymore.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, that's the more classic scenario. Nobody is immune from this crisis. It is hitting everybody.
It scared the hell out of me. And I have been scared that bad about drugs since the day that I got arrested 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and got my life saved.
Yes, sir.
So that's the scaredest I've been. I literally didn't want anything to do with it. I was like, okay, I don't care how bad the pain is. I'm not taking another one of the little big old white tablet like that. I said, I'm not taking another one of those tablets.
Well, that's good. Good. You're strong-willed, not get hooked on that stuff.
I mean, first off, I don't understand how people get hooked on something that makes you hallucinate that bad or slobber on yourself. I just don't understand it. But I could see how you could become addicted to it.
Yeah.
Because I was in horrible, agonizing pain where I was screaming. It was hurt so much after this surgery.
I'm sure.
Take 4 Oxycontin, I could have ran a marathon. So I can understand how it's easy to get hooked on them, but it's just, and doctors now are doing a much better job getting, only giving you 2-day supply or 3-day supply. Yeah. And when I went back, she was like, I'm not giving you. I said, I don't want any more. I can give you the 8 back. You can have it back. But that's an outreach program you are doing with the opioids as well.
Yes, sir, it is. And I know I mentioned this earlier, but what great time we live in when, like, you're right back at work 3 weeks later after having a major back surgery. So welcome back.
Yeah. Look, it's all Dr. Reddy and his team. I just laid there unconscious, belly down. You know what I mean? They told me you're going to feel like you're going to sleep, and then I woke up and they said 5 hours had passed. I had no idea.
Yeah. Awesome.
So there are other things that you do, though, outreach-wise as well.
Yes, sir. We do. Prior to this COVID pandemic, we also do hepatitis A vaccinations.
Boy, that's something that we forgot about with the COVID vaccine, wasn't it?
It is. Marion County, yes, sir. Marion County was actually deemed a health crisis because the hepatitis was so bad here, the hepatitis A, particularly in our homeless population. But if anybody knows somebody or needs a hepatitis A vaccination, they can go to ocalafire.org and complete the tab, and we'll come out and provide that.
I remember restaurants were having a bad time where restaurant employees were coming down with hepatitis A, and then people didn't want to go to the restaurant and eat and everything.
Yes, sir. They would have to notify all the people that had participated in that restaurant.
I got the 2 shots. I had to go get, because one of my favorite places is, I won't tell you the name of it because they don't advertise, but it's right across the street from the Dunkin' Donuts on the boulevard. They do karaoke 7 nights a week. And they had a cook that ended up with hepatitis A.
Yes, sir.
And they called all of us. So we had to go to the health department. I had to go. Sue Mosley had to go.
Right.
We all had to go get our 1 and 2 shot.
2-shot series.
Right. Because you didn't know. And then COVID came along. It's like we forgot hepatitis A.
Yes, sir. So we'll be back up and running with it once we get this pandemic behind us. Another program we have is Citizen CPR. We actually have a business plan to do a certain amount of people per year in CPR. So if anybody needs hands-only CPR or certification, they can go to ocalafire.org, and we have a team that provides CPR here in town. I
was watching a news out of Georgia, because I talked about how it got changed, but I was watching local news out of Georgia, and African-American girl, 15 years old, saved her friend who had fallen into a ditch and had basically was drowning, got her out of the ditch, saved her by performing CPR on her that she had learned the day before in school.
Wow.
So you never know. CPR is one of those things you never know when you're going to use it, but if you know how to use it, you can save a life.
So you bring up another great point. Marion County, along with Ocala, we have a program called Pulse Point. And what this is if somebody calls 911 and they're having a cardiac crisis, and if you're in the program, it will do like a Waze app where it will bring you to the patient that needs CPR. one of the great portions of the application is you don't have to be certified in CPR. You can actually, it takes you to the patient, you can put your phone down and touch a button, and it gives you verbal instructions on how to perform CPR until 911 arrives.
Perfect, great outreach program you got for CPR, because you never do. It's one of those things you don't want to ever have to use it, but you're glad that you know how when you do have to use it.
Yes, sir. The Village is implemented a number of years ago, and they are 4 times more likely to survive a cardiac crisis than the national average.
Well, there you go. Other outreach programs?
Yes, sir. Our coaching mentoring program, I know we've spoken about that program here. Anybody can go to ocalafire.org. We have 60 to 80 students at any given time. If anybody wants to be a firefighter, EMT, a dispatcher, law enforcement, they can sign up. It's a faith-based program with physical fitness, resumes. We do basic skill sets. We meet on Monday nights, Thursday nights, and Saturday mornings. It's an outstanding program. If anybody would be interested, it's a free program as well.
Y'all do so much more as a fire department than they do on Chicago Fire. How's that? I mean,
well, we do that also.
I watch that show, and then I call friends of mine. I call Anthony. I'll call Dylan Lawson. I'll call people. Call JT. I go, I just watch some of your guys on TV at Chicago Fire. I didn't know y'all did those kind of things in the firehouse. Well, I just didn't know that happened. Shows like that are a good thing and a bad thing, because they get people interested in the world of firefighting.
Right. Yes, sir.
But they also solve the world's problems in 1 hour, and that's not accurate at all.
Oh, no, sir. And some of the stuff, you watch it as a firefighter, and some of it's off base, but we get it's entertaining.
And it does get people interested in maybe a career in firefighting.
Yeah, absolutely. Our big surges, you remember back Rescue 51.
Yeah, Rudolph Mantooth, baby.
Yep.
Rampart. They picked the phone up. Rampart.
Yep. After that, after Backdraft, after obviously the World Trade Center, we always have a surge of people that want to serve, that get into the public
Steve
safety.
Buscemi, the actor Steve Buscemi, still he was a New York Fire Department employee. He was a New York firefighter before he became a big movie actor. He was a New York firefighter, and during 9/11 went back to the house that he had come up in New York Fire Department and worked 30 days helping dig out the World Trade Center.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Buscemi, firefighter that became an actor.
Right.
But, and now if I was him, if I was the New York Fire Department, he'd be on every poster to recruit that I had.
Sir.
I had. Is there right now, are you in the hiring stages right now?
We just hired, we had planned retirements this year, and 3 of them came up, and we are replacing them with 3 young men that we've already recruited. Outstanding young men. One of them's a bilingual Hispanic soccer star with a bachelor's degree, and then 2 other young men that are from this community, and they're going to end up being great parts of our program.
Is it key to make sure that a lot of your recruitment keep people from here?
It's huge. There was a cycle probably a little bit more than 5 years ago, particularly with us, where there weren't jobs in South Florida or other areas. They'd come here to work, and then as soon as jobs opened up, they would return. A big part of what we do is we have a relationship with the school system here, where we recruit in the schools. And not solely, but a large portion of our hires are local kids that are going to stay here. One young kid is Brandon Ackerman. We just offered him a job. He's a local kid here, went to high school at Forest, played football at UF. And
I may or may not know his dad real well.
Anyway, so that young man's not going to work here for 3 years and then go run off.
No, Brandon's a good kid too. He's a great kid.
Yes, sir. We're proud to have him, and we have high expectations of him. We want to see him be a high performer.
His dad, not so much, but Brandon, good kid. I'm kidding, Coach. I'm kidding, because I know Brady listens every day. He ain't sure.
Yes, sir.
Tell people if they want to find more out about the fire department, where they can go.
Yes, sir. One more time, they can go to ocalafire.org, and we have a number of other, even if you want a fire truck to come display for an event or any of the programs we've talked about, it's ocalafire.org, and on the left side of the screen, you'll see our outreach tab. Click on there, fill it out, it gets pushed to us, and we'll contact you real quick after that and get you all lined up. Chief Shane,
easy for me to say, Chief Shane Alexander of the Ocala Fire Department. Thanks for being here, Chief.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Yep, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Sunday, he's directed the state police to conduct an independent investigation after video emerged showing 2 officers pepper spraying and drawing guns on an Army lieutenant during a traffic stop last December. The Democrat governor says our Commonwealth has done important work on police reform, but we must keep working to ensure that Virginians are safe during interactions with police. End quote. The U.S. economy is poised for an extended period of strong growth and hiring, the chair of the Federal Reserve reported Sunday. Chair Jerome Powell said that he does not expect to raise the Fed's benchmark interest rate, currently sitting at nearly 0. Powell also downplayed the risk of higher inflation from government spending and expanding budget deficits. England will begin partially reopening businesses following months of coronavirus lockdowns. Starting Monday, retail stores can welcome back customers and outdoor service can resume at bars, salons, and gyms. USA Radio News.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
Trump is right. Millions are tuning into Newsmax TV and going to Newsmax.com for real news. Some polls give Joe Biden a high job approval, even 60%. Now Newsmax is asking if you agree with that. Do you really approve of Joe Biden, his policies, and $4 trillion in spending? And do you think President Trump did a better job? Let us know. Vote in the Newsmax poll right now. Just text the word NORTH to 39747. That's NORTH to 39747. It takes just a minute. Let America know who you like better, Biden or Trump. Tens of millions are watching Newsmax TV, now on all major cable systems, smart TVs, and OTT platforms. And vote now in the Newsmax poll. Just text the word NORTH to 39747. That's NORTH to 39747. Let your voice be heard, and watch Newsmax today.
How to identify and control a deadly plant disease. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
Are you looking for something that's unusual or hard to find? You might just find it at HiBid.com. It's the online auction site for, well, just about anything. HiBid.com has estate sales, closeouts, liquidations, and even government-seized vehicle auctions. It's easy to bid on office furniture, antiques, sports memorabilia, restaurant equipment, motorboats, and even arcade games. You can search for items by name or simply see where the next page takes you. Visit HiBid.com, that's HIBID.com, and find what you're looking for today.
Here's farmer and landowner John Prue.
We purchased the land about 3 years ago, and there was an old farmstead on there with trees. We were going to clear the land so we could farm through it. We thought we knew where the pipe was, so we didn't call to get it located. The work on our property led to the damage of a light crude pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
Southeast AgNet is social. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, where you can be sure to find all of the agriculture news for the Southeast.
If there are strange spots developing on the leaves of your plants, you might have bacterial leaf spot. And it's a particularly nasty problem because there's no cure for this plant disease. There are ways to slow the spread, but once your plant has it, there's no way to save it from its fate. Bacterial leaf spot causes spots, often water-soaked, that spread across the plant's foliage. Spots can be yellow, brown, or black. Infestations start small, appearing on just the foliage, fruit, or stems at first. The bacteria gets in at the opening of the plant. It then spreads rapidly throughout the rest of the plant and then to other plants in your garden, killing numerous plants. Prevention is the best course of action when it comes to this garden disease. Bacterial leaf spot is tough to treat, but there are plenty of preventive measures that stop the disease from making your garden its new home. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
We can expect a brief morning shower. Otherwise, after a cloudy start, we'll have sunshine with a high of 82 to 86. Mainly clear tonight, low 55 to 61. And a nice day Tuesday with sunshine mixing with some clouds. High tomorrow 86 to 89. Wednesday, look for some sunshine, then turning cloudy. High on Wednesday 85 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's